There's just one more game remaining before we find out the 11 trios who are going to be representing Europe at the Fortnite Global Championships in Lyon, France. 4 teams to be decided after this game, and of course, the major 3 winners. And right now, Fredoxy, Chino and Pablo Wingo just have to have a good game to pull off the victory. Major 2, they came second, but today they are playing like winners, Levin.
Absolutely. You look at Major 2, they were so impressive. They were the ones chasing, right? This time, they are being chased, and it's gonna be about holding on. And look, with the way they've been playing Mini Miner, everything tells me they are gonna hold on, right? You know, there's been so many spanners thrown into the works throughout these games, but what these guys have shown is that they will make things happen. Look at this from Fredoxy. This is just ridiculous. Isolates the 1v1 with each player with just one single build, plays, hits both shots. It is just, everything is going their way right now, and it feels like, to me, the win is inevitable, but the teams close behind them are gonna really fight for it. Vico's trio, Vanya's trio, who knows which one of them will be the one to step up and really give them the push, but I know both of them will fight.
Well, can we talk about Vico, Veno and Flixie, Mini Miner? Sorry to interrupt you there, but this was a bit of a miraculous game for them. They managed to pull off a 4th place. Oh no, sorry, not a 4th place, an 11th place here. But it's surprising because Flixie was left solo very early at the start of the game.
Yeah, at this point here, you know, you have the chasers trying to close in. They're trying to find some eliminations early on. They're trying to get their storm surge done, but oh no, what's happened? Veno and Vico both gone down, leaving Flixie as a solo. And at this point, I thought, yeah, there's got to be wraps now, right? But the way that Flixie was able to get these guys back up, and not only that, be able to make their way into the end game, and of course, find some storm surge tags, find some elims to pick up refreshes. And this is the moment right here, trying to find as much damage as they can. They were a little bit below, wasn't a problem for these guys at all. So the fact that they were able to get some points from this game, Levin, was a really, really great job from these guys. It keeps them just about in contention. It wasn't an ideal game though, so they'll have to go back to the drawing board now for the last game.
Look, the problem when you're chasing a team playing as well as Fredoxy's trio is that good isn't good enough, right? They have to do enough, and to be enough, you have to be better than good, if you catch what I'm saying right now, Mini. Look, they can hold on in these games. They can find the silver lining and get a couple points here and there. They need to push past Pablo, Fred, and Chino, and that is going to be a tough ask right now.
Well, let's look at that top 9 at the moment, because as we have a number of trios who've already qualified for global championships, we do know the amount of positions we have, right? 4 left, and as we already have, I'm just doing the maths here, so we already have 5 trios that are qualified in the top 10. We can see those positions and who's currently sitting in a spot to go to France. So obviously we can see Bevies, Fastroki and but I really want to talk about 2 trios here, and they are Seti's trio and Cammy's trio. Who would have thought it at the start of this tournament that we'd see both of them now in a spot? And Seti's trio, they pretty much already guaranteed 11.
Yeah, Seti's trio sitting very comfortably right now. They won't be stressing. They just need to make sure, again, they hold on, they don't do anything too silly. But I think they will be good. It's the teams below them that really starting to worry. And because you mentioned the teams in position, right? Some of the teams just behind that, right? In 10th, Mr. Savage's trio, they are right behind. They have a real opportunity here to do something special, to make the dream happen, keep the dreams alive.
Yeah, this is the fan favorite team, right? This is the team that I'm sure everyone at home will be egging on to get into the global championships.
Someone
everyone wants to see
knew
Mr.
them.
Savage. Everyone wants to see Reason on LAN in France, EU home LAN. It's got to happen for them, and it all comes down
no
to
one
this. They're
named
not
that
that
name.
far behind. What are they? 20 points or so behind. So that can definitely be turned around in this last game. Of course, they need the teams above them to not do so well. But what we've seen from these guys all weekend is their ability to clutch up in endgame, their ability to make these games happen. So if there's any chance for them to do it right now, I think they're in a really good state to do it.
They have to do everything. There is no barking up the wrong tree for these guys. Do what it takes to make it happen.
But when you look at the names on that team, when you look at the potential of Chap, when you look at the experience of Reason and of Savage, you know that these are 3 names that could be very much booking a spot in the global championships. We're going to head now into game 12, and after this, we'll find out who will be representing us in Lyon.
The final hour is finally upon us, Takada.
One last ride on the Battle Bus for the Major 3 Grand Finals, and we will soon have our Blade of Champion wielders. Game 12, let's get it.
It's getting heated. Pablo Fordoxy Chino leading the pack with Vico, Veno, Flixie close behind them. In Major 2, Pablo Fordoxy Chino, like Evan was talking about, got second place, now pushing for first. And we have a potential Cammy and Seti both making it to the Global Championship, but not as teammates. This time as competitors, each player looking to go 4 for 4 for these in-person events. They played together at Invitational. They qualified the last 2 Global Championships, and all that's left now for them in the path ahead is to qualify to this upcoming one. Can both of them do it as we kick things off?
Can't have one without the other. So we'll have to wait and see whether Cammy gets the job done. Seti Panzer likely did more than enough homework to lock in, but Chino, Pablo Fordoxy, clearly uncontested this time at Supernova Academy.
Ain't no one
and
they
it's the
nail.
same story for Veno, Flixie, and Avico. No surprises waiting for them at their drop.
You know,
Here at
no
Box
pun.
Cars. So, despite some of the tensions that have kind of been driven up throughout the course of today's games, Takada, we are seeing everybody kind of get their fair shot at that top 3 for our current top 3 on the leaderboard.
Also talking about, qualifying range for the Global Championship, there's a 56-point difference between 9th and 14th. Any of those trios, even outside of that 14th spot with a good enough match, can qualify to the Global Championship. As a reminder, there's 4 trios that will qualify. However, due to previous trios already having qualified, that spot is 9th on the leaderboard. So a top 9 currently will put you in the Global Championship.
But for Fordoxy, Chino, and Pablo, Fordoxy said at last major, I want to do something special. And that starts with bringing in Chino and Pablo. A lot of sacrifices made. Pablo split from a longtime teammate. Chino split with Pink and Nebs. And obviously, it worked out for them last major, Takada. But it's about one step further every single time. And to win this Major 3 finals heading into the Global Championship would just be surreal momentum, I would expect, for Fordoxy's team especially. But Chap, Savage, and Reason, the world is on their shoulders.
And pressure is on for this last match. Savage played 22-23 lands. Missed 2024, where Chap got 6th. Reason has played all 3. And now the trio looking to make it happen once again here. But what we can tell from Fordoxy, Pablo, and Chino is they are...
God tier, Lou.
Yeah, they are kitted out. They are definitely kitted out for this last match.
Sometimes it almost comes across in the world of Fortnite where it just really feels like a team might have bot armor. Fordoxy, Chino, and Pablo, by any means necessary, they're looking to maintain this first place position on the leaderboard. They want those Blades of Champions in their locker. And it might be a little bit of an issue maybe in terms of hesitancy, but with the way that they played, the confidence that they've had throughout all 12 games to this point, I don't think that I would ever anticipate them to play scared. And that's why I think so many people have had a lot of kind of confidence in the type of performance that Fordoxy's team might be able to pull off this LAN or this event.
See how close it is from the quick stat, but hold my thought, Fordoxy. You were talking about it, not a trio that's going to be scared to get aggressive here, even if it's the last match of the last major before the Global Championship. Picking up that quick elimination, good way to kick it off.
It's hard not to want to autopilot and start fantasizing about wielding that Blade of Champions too if you are in Fordoxy, Chino, and Pablo Wingo's position. You're making every single endgame. Even if you're not a fully intact trio during those endgames, you're still converting eliminations into winning opportunities. And now Fordoxy chasing out Not even sold that he realizes Howley is still on this beachfront with him, but Prodoxy thinks that he might have gone further up the hill. As soon as he wraps around this rock, he'll realize Howley, nowhere left to run. Misform's gonna come out, but Chino, Pablo, Prodoxy, they're all just simultaneously thinking, bro, please just go down already. Prodoxy will find himself being knocked too, but Pablo and Chino, they can play for the double revive. That's a nice set of eliminations to grab there, though.
Yeah, no stress for them. As Vico, Veno, Flixi, does Seti know? Does Seti know there's a full trio in the same building as him as he continues farming, matting up? This would be catastrophic for Panzer, Yapko, and Seti. Panzer's on track to qualify for his first ever FNCS LAN. And like I mentioned earlier, Seti looking to go 4 for 4, but it looks like the shots have come through. Veno's gonna try and knock out Panzer from the sky. Unable to connect, the Seti's done what he can to escape from the building. The trap, as not a single player has been knocked yet, but it might just be a matter of time.
Another player even further away, but this has been settled down to the low ground. Seti is going to be knocked. Seti eliminated here. Vico, Veno, Flixi closing in now onto Panzer and Yapko. They're just too hurt after getting chopped out. A little bit of panic now ensuing, but Yapko trying to keep his wits about him. He watches as Panzer gets eliminated right next to him. Veno, Vico, Flixi standing tall here at Lone Wolf Lair, but a third party could ruin the fun here as Vico, Veno, Flixi trying to be wary. Wheat, Nefrizi, and Sined have now jumped into the dog pile. But for Vico, Veno, Flixi, they're just content to take their wins here. Levin said don't get silly, and Seti, Yapko, Panzer, they weren't being silly. They just were casualties of not keeping enough of a lookout. Veno, Vico, Flixi, they just wanted it more.
Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate end, but hey, the good news is I think they have more than enough points to qualify to the Global Championship, so unfortunately they won't get a very, high top 3, top 2 placement, but they will be in France, so we'll see how that performance ends up coming through. And hey, hopefully Cammy can get a good performance here to join Seti and be 4 for 4 as well.
It's all about seeing who are going to be those 4 fresh trios headed towards the Global Championship. Mixin, Upple, Focus. After that last game, they know that this is the closest that they have been this entire weekend to locking down the Global Championship. And you've really got to keep your mental fortitude going strong here, because any sort of hiccup could be all it takes for the rug to get pulled out from underneath you. So they're probably going to play it safe, and they're not the only teams looking to do so.
Patience can be key, especially in these final matches, but I mean, from our perspective, we can see on the mini-map, no trios in sight. Potentially just waiting for a zone.
Oh,
Mr. Savage, Chap Reason now. This could be it.
This is going to be the fight that determines whether or not Chap, Savage, and Reason are going to be able to set up for the end game. Teeny eliminated. Chap, Savage, Reason still trying to see if they can find any more. A little bit of a halt here, though. Tayson, Trulex, Chicho, all these other teams are going to be an issue, but the starting point is that Chap, Savage, Reason, the way that they just collapsed so quickly onto Teeny, Trulegs is lucky to still be alive right now. Had it not been for Tayson, H-Vis, and Chicho showing face, this could have gone a completely different way for him, but even still, stuck.
That's a big elimination, though, for Mr. Savage, Reason, and Chap. I mean, they're in 10th place, and the trio in 11th is Teeny, Skavi, and Trulex. They're literally 1 placement behind them. So being able to eliminate them this early on could be what qualifies them if they get a good enough performance here in this last match.
And the worst part about it still is Trulex knowing what type of performances he's had on the global stage for the past couple of years now, Takada. To miss out on this first time ever would be if Trulex doesn't make it here today. And that would just be so tough to walk away from. but they can still look to bring this one back. Storm methods have clearly panned out very well for so many teams. For Doxy, Chino, Pablo, definitely one of them. And Kurama and Werex have got to be really careful that they don't get caught out inside of the storm.
Benya fixing Marius, though, doesn't have to worry too much about that. We've seen the amount of heals that they rack up with their early game strat, but it looks like Mr. Savage Chap Reason once again taking pop shots at a different trio. This time it's CZB, Nathan, Axe Force.
CZB, Axe Force debating whether or not they want to get a little bit more involved with this fight, or if they think that they have the better angle to try and take a third-party approach. Savage Chap Reason, they don't want it to end here. Not now, not yet. They still have more fight left in them. That's why we see both ends of this engagement. Isn't it out somewhat? Chap trying to see. If Chap gets this knock onto CZB, that might be the determining factor here for whether or not Savage's team decides to fully commit onto this fight. A bit more brawl, but Chap comes up big time. Axe Force knocked. Axe Force eliminated. Odds are in Savage's favor, and they have fully boxed up Nathan. He just barely managed to get his way out, but Savage, Chap, and Reason, one elimination after the next. That's all it takes at times. Chino, Pablo, they might have a lead, but that doesn't mean they want to find themselves with an early departure from the final lobby of the day. The less chances of Venom catching up, the better. Double revive, though. And Chino, Pablo for Doxy. Now they're just left to duke it out with the Frenchies. Redix and Kurama off in the distance, trying to run away.
This is not where you want to go down, being the first place trio.
Dude.
Luckily enough, despite Doxy getting knocked, looks like they did come out on top. A little bit of pressure, but now feeling even better.
Still a little bit lower on the material count than what they would probably want to be. They had more than enough time to make up for it. Just a replay of how exactly they managed to overcome that exchange, and just really well monitored by Chino and Pablo. Taking the better angles. Vico, Veno, Sandguild lurking. But he's a solo, and I don't think that this is the fight he's looking for. But granted, if Vico gets pushed back into him, Sandguild might just ruin everything for Veno, Vico, and Flixie.
They cannot afford to go down here. Nice shot coming through, but it's not enough for a knock. Veno completely cracked. The good news is they've regrouped and they have time to heal.
It's another one of our first through third teams, though. Pixie. Oh, excuse me. Pigstorm Demas are the ones looking to get involved, but this is still very troublesome for Veno, Vico, and Flixie. Pigstorm and Demas are no foreigners to a good box fight here, Takata.
Not at all, but looks like they were pretty quick to kind of keep on moving towards the zone. Kind of just caught them on the rotate, but don't want to take any risks. As now, seems like they'll slow down here for a bit.
It's almost like time just stood still there for a moment. Inside of Utopia City, Veno, Vico, Flixie, 4 eliminations. Rounded up as is, and Pigstorm Demas still kind of hugging along the side, kind of mimicking the rotate that Veno, Vico, and Flixie were taking.
So I drop Ari and Cammy, though. This matches everything. They're not close to as comfortable as a lot of the trios in the top 3, top 5. Being in 7th place.
The team needs
Just
to. Yeah.
A little bit more than 20 points off. They need to have a good performance here.
Knowing that said he's already locked in, but revisiting what had started to unfold here at Utopia. Vico, Veno, Flixie on one end. For Doxy, Pablo, Chino, first and second, might actually just clash head on here, Takata. And now for Doxy, Pablo, Chino, they have to sit through that miss grenade. But other teams in the area, they're definitely going to know that's just one more healing resource that this trio doesn't have to work with. A little bit of a gap here, though, and just overtake building tops, and they're ready to bail. They don't need to stick around for this fight. Positioning just means so much more.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
On the ground once again. Chap Reese and Savage hunting them down. Already 4 eliminations on the board. This is how you want to start off the last match of the day if you're in qualifying range, but it's the opposite for Trulex. Trying to do anything he can to stay up here.
Trulex is just going to have to wait. Everything that lies ahead of them right now, and that's only if Savage Tap and Reason even let Trulex escape Crime City. He's trying to keep a low profile, but the problem right now, Takada, is that even if he does bring back Sweet and Teeny with the reboot, even if Reason, Chap, and Savage decide not to turn around and key him for it, there's so much surge that they're going to need to compile, and they're just going to be so much further, like, they're going to be 10 steps behind the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, it's playing on expert mode. Storm. Quick replay to what they've been doing. Nice elimination. Bevies. Where's your team, Bevies?
Eliminated, sadly. Lone Bevies. A couple of players that he can recognize in the distance, but Bevies is a little bit...
My fucking football.
Everybody's just been looking kind of stuck
in
these solo and duo spots.
So now team need to lose. Die right now.
For Enkido, but
Be so nice to be.
having now all the pressure onto Bevies playing it alone, being the cutoff to qualify, just puts that much more pressure on your shoulders. Focus up will mix in stellar performance in the last match, especially from Focus. Hopefully they can keep it up here.
And they're also another one of those teams that's got players. Focus and Upple are both looking to qual for their first LAN event in FNCS. It would be a crazy kind of accomplishment for these guys, and they're definitely looking forward to it. They've just got to play to the standard that is this set lobby. But match 12, you can just tell so many of these teams are just being very cautious on how they proceed, Takada.
That they are. Vanya, Pixie, and Marius, they push themselves into the top 3. With the performance here on day 2, it's been very consistent. In the past few matches, they're just less than 10 points away behind Vico and Benno going into this match, but now with those eliminations, the gap has extended itself a bit.
Everyone in this lobby knows that this is just the last competitive opportunity if you're not qualified to the global championship. And with that in the back of their minds, it's likely a huge reason as to why these teams are looking to just try and slow play through this. But eventually, once we get to the moving zones, Takada, these teams are going to be forced to tango with each other just because of the fact that Surge is very likely going to come into effect. It's been a nuisance for a handful of our teams that have been kind of struggling inside of that 8th through 13th position on the leaderboard.
I'm even feeling it. Last game of the last major before Globals, and we're getting closer and closer now to the end game, where it's all going to unfold, but you don't want it to end before that. Cammy's little tower gets taken down, being 6 zone. A potential for a massive pull here. They did not have the odds in their favor in the last match, but hopefully this time around they can. Trulex, though, hold on. Is he back in business now? Making it into the zone. Gonna be looking for that surge desperately, most likely, and Cammy might be on the receiving end.
Cammy, Hottie, eye drop. They're trying to be cautious, but Trulex, he is severely hurt. He needs Teeny and Skv to buy him a little bit of time. And Teeny, I'm just staring down. Mason's team now spots out Venno. But you can never peek for too long. They're in a slightly isolated position right now, Takada, but only 22 above that search damage threshold. They know that they're going to need damage, but also they just need refreshes. They need material, and they need to just upgrade some of these heals.
What a zone pull, though. 7. Right beside them, also very good for Cammy. I drop on Hari here. If you want a good zone, it's on the last match. You gotta capitalize on it, though.
It's always great to finish strong. in a grand final setting, but Hadi, Cammy, iDrop, it's right in their grasp. Their qualifying position towards that global championship. They don't want to let it slip through their fingers. Chino, Pablo, Fordoxy, just cutting straight through the center of the lobby. They don't care what kind of attention it might bring. They know that they moved early enough, but the focus has shifted elsewhere. Teeny, Trulex, V, still continue to stare down Upple, Mixin, and Focus, but Teeny, more pressure. And that's a very rapid usage of the Mistborn, but they know this might be their fight. It's the only option they really have left over, but Mixin was too ready for it. Trulex is gonna take the next stumble here and fully eliminated. A heartbreaking outcome for Trulex, Teeny, and Spee. But their downfall might be the come up for some of these other teams here. Mixin, Upple, they've still got a little bit more left in the tank, Takada. It doesn't take much, but they've got to just barely get over that hill.
Only wood from Mixin. No brick, no metal. Could that be a little refresh? Not looking incredible for them, but definitely possible. As Cammy's gone and gotten ahead of zone here. Mr. Savage now looking back. More than enough damage as Robin is on the receiving end. Mistborn being used.
Savage is gonna need to summon all of the willpower from the Bear Army. Owners Watch Party better be going crazy right now. Germans also gotta be getting wild for reason. And Chap too, Chap looking to make waves. They're so close to Kata to making it towards the global championship. It would be an absolutely Cinderella story there for Savage too. But iDrop, Hadi, Cammy, very similar circumstance. They want that global's qual. And iDrop, Hadi, Cammy, decent amount of surge above. And with the way that the elevation is going to potentially draw everybody's material count to be so incredibly low, they might not be that pressed on their builds.
They have to be careful though. A lot of high ground retakes could come through here. Marius, Vanya, Pixie, eyes are on them. Cammy, Hari, and iDrop cannot go down here. Steady's already made it to the global championship. Cammy looking to go 4 for 4. If they get eliminated now, they might not make it. Cammy's been knocked. It's up to Harry to protect them or choose to play it out as a duo with iDrop, and that's the only option they're gonna have.
iDrop looking to beat the odds, to beat the allegations. He's wanting to overcome and find himself at that global championship. Fortunately for them, they're still managing to just stay holed up and wait for the lobby focus to kind of dissipate off of them. Pacino, Pablo, Fordoxy, 4 eliminations. They pinpointed Bevy's location. Hyper goes Jewel. They just decide, okay, let's not go right into the center of all this crossfire. We're gonna try and take a different position. Chap, Reason, Savage pulling up though onto Fordoxy, Pablo, and Chino, and they've knocked Pablo.
Oh,
This is catastrophic right now for Fordoxy's team. In that first place position on the leaderboard, they're gonna have to leave Pablo behind. It now
too much
is
important
entirely
right
up to
now.
Fordoxy and Chino to close this one out.
Benno pushing on to iDrop. He has to be careful. Hari's been fully cracked now. Forced to heal on up. 2 minis is all that he's got left, but no builds to get cover. Hari as well, 0 materials. A potentially tragic ending as now Hari's forced to play it out as a solo. He's gonna have to ride the storm here. A pullback would be ideal. A med kit has been found, but high ground gets chopped. Marius gets cracked, knocked down quick enough. Pixie, Vanya left as a duo.
But Pixie still able to apply a little bit of pressure onto the teams underneath. They're going to wind up dropping as a duo. It's going to be hard to try and hold height, and they want to look for that double revive, but the lobby just chopping out the force from underneath them. Vanya is going to have to leave the rest of his team behind, whether or not Pixie catches up to him.
He's still alive or no?
Life. And sure enough, Pixie trying to hold down the back top, but Pixie gets chopped out. Pixie is eliminated. Vanya, hardly any HP, and it is falling like flies for our leading teams on the leaderboard right now. Takada, Vico also a solo from Venno's trio. Vico versus Vanya now to see who can try and really lock it out for that top 3 in the leaderboard. Watch Malabuka ping. Finally telling everyone that this is their chance to step up, but they are pushing down all these teams from the hill, trying to see if they can find any sort of escape from the pressure. And Vico crazy elimination onto Chap. That's gonna be everything when it comes to material. The Siphon as well. He's just trying to tunnel his way through, but the lights are too bright, and Vico has been eliminated. Chino and Fredoxy, we are looking at our Major 3 played a champion wielders, Takata. They just need to close this out.
One final end game to finish it, and they're just a second away from wielding that Blade of Champions. Fredoxy's gonna use that miss for him. He wants to close it out strong, but you can see the excitement. He saw the feed. The dance comes through. He knows what has been done as Chino looking to finish with a couple eliminations. Hyper gonna get pickaxed as now just 4 eliminations built up, but Fredoxy's left alone. 2 more builds on the board, and Tayson on the other end of the build.
It's close enough for a victory lap. Fredoxy already knew that they had confirmed this Major 3 Grand Finals Blade of Champions position. He is just having fun with it at this point, trying to see who he can disrupt, just running around. Doesn't even matter what he does, inevitably get eliminated. Fredoxy still looking to ruin the fun for others. Tayson will be dropped. That's gonna put Chicho and Atris now into a position where they have to try and hold it down, but Atris has fallen. Chicho still going strong though in the low ground, and even with only 10 builds remaining, Chicho, he sees Mappy directly behind him, trying to close the gap. Mappy trying to fight back, but Chicho, if he can get this knock, if he can get that Siphon, it might just be the difference. Malibuca and Ping, though, they look so healthy, Takata. This is an insane finish right now. Malibuca and Ping off the top rope, chasing down whatever's left of Chicho's HP.
I don't know what I've been made inside the team.
Fredoxy, Pablo, and Chino for me. They weren't content with letting Varias be the only Dane holding that title. The fact that now Fredoxy gets to join the mix, it is just absolutely cinema here. And they earned this win the whole way through.
The winner already.
You know, it feels good when in Major 2, not that long ago, they were in second place after the finals. They wanted that first place finish, that Blade of Champions more than ever. And with the performance we've seen from them today, they rightfully deserve not only that first place, but now the momentum going into the Global Championship, the next stop for them. But I also have in my mind, what's that leaderboard gonna be looking like? Who has qualified to the Global Championship? Let's head over shortly, but it has been an amazing 12 matches, Taco. It has been incredibly exciting to close out this last major of the year. That is going to be it for Taco and myself here in the casting booth. We're going to have to head over to the desk to crown our champions and see how that leaderboard is looking. So Frankie Levin Mini, take it away.
Thank you so much to Taco and Takata for their fantastic commentating all season. And it is official. Your FNCS Europe Major 3 champions are Fredoxy, Pablo Wingo, and Chino. A much-deserved win, fiercely fought for, making good on their promise to go one better than Major 2 and take that Blade of Champions, Levin.
A well-deserved winner here on the weekend, the best team. They showed it on day one when they gave us a record-breaking performance here in EU, dropping high eliminations. They flew high all throughout the weekend, Mini. They did not come down at any single moment. And I can't wait to see what this guy does on the global stage. We've been searching for a team to really be, you know, our EU champion, the team that will do something for us on land, finally give us a chance against the NA Titans that have been winning it year in, year on. And these guys, if they can play like this on that stage in Lyon, they're gonna have a good chance at it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the new age of EU domination is upon us, and these guys performed incredibly well last major, just about missing out on their title. Now they've managed to clutch it, and a performance of champions as well all weekend long. We talk about the domination, but the way that they were able to come back, bounce back after a less than positive start to the weekend for them. They would have hoped that that would have gone a little bit better, but the way that they clutched up that record-breaking game, the way that they kept that momentum going across days, having to have a few troubles off spawn as well with teams contesting them fighting early on. They had all the elements of an FNCS winning team. I don't think anyone else could have deserved it more.
It's been such an impressive performance from these guys, as you guys have just put it so well. And it makes me so excited for global championships, because I know that there is a lot of discussion about North American region because they have some of the best players in the world. Obviously, we're going to be looking at Peterbot come September. However, when you look at the leaderboard, the names that we have here, not just Frodoxy, Pablo and Chino, the names we have here are world class, and they're going to be putting up an epic fight when we come to that international competition.
Wow.
And you can see that. Look at that 1 to 9 positions. We're going to be seeing Seti performing again. We're going to be seeing Cami. These two united on land but rivals, and we are going to see Mr. Savage, Levin.
Unbelievable. You can't forget Focus's trio in sick. Focus, Mix and Apple. They clutched up towards the back end there. But of course, the team, the final team to qualify for the Global Championships from EU. Chat, Mr. Savage.
What
reason.
the fuck?
Oh my God. I'm so happy, Minnie. My weekend has been made. Look, we try not to be too biased over here, but we all wanted to see Mr. Savage back on land, getting a chance to perform. We wanted to see Chap back on land after the year he had last year. Reason, representing Germany. This is... I couldn't ask for anything more, man. The script, wow.
I just know the chat's going wild right now. The Fortnite community in EU, we all love Mr. Savage, we all love Reason, so lots of fans are going to be super excited now after that. And even Cami versus Seti on land, not in the same team. Super excited about that as well when we get to the FNCS Global Championships. I think lots of comparisons were made between these guys. Who's going to outplace who's going to do better than who when it comes to them splitting. Cami definitely took the hard route. He took the long road towards this spot, but that team in particular, super proud of them for making it through. And of course, Seti all weekend just deserved to be in that Global Championship squad.
And
unbelievable.
Yeah. Cast your eyes, guys, to Focus, Mixon and Uppal as well. Focus and Uppal, this will be their first LAN, their first Global Championships in Lyon. The pressure is going to be on, but they have an experienced voice in Mixon on the team, Mini Miner.
Yeah, this is going to be really good for these guys. I mean, this is a trio that we didn't necessarily talk about at the beginning of the weekend as maybe a team that might be able to qualify for the Global Championships, but the way that they closed out today, that beautiful first place game going into this last game as well, that game 11 first place was fantastic. Just set them up, and to be able to carry that momentum, to be able to carry that confidence level was so crucial and shows why they deserve to be at the Global Championships.
Yeah, and I'm really happy for these boys, right? Especially when you look at Uppal and you look at Panja on Seti's trio, because they obviously were one spot away from qualifying for globals in Major 2, and it was looking, really rough at times, but they finally are able to make it in. And again, with some great games towards the back end of the day, it really goes to show sometimes you might not have the best of starts, but if you keep pushing, you keep fighting, your opportunity will come.
And can we actually talk about something we were discussing off camera as well, Levin, about the fact that we're going to see some names at Global Championships who aren't necessarily the most experienced, the most tenured players. This is a really exciting time for Europe. And actually, you can take a look at who they're going to be up against, because we can see our qualified trios from each of the majors now. I mean, the competition from North America, we're going to find out who will be joining the already qualified trios in just a few hours' time. But I think that this is going to be a very closely thought thing, Levin.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at, EU right now, there is definitely a tide turning where we've seen so much fresh talent, so much new talent come through and make their mark here in the region. But where you really make your mark, where you become remembered forever is at the Global Championships in Lyon. It's your chance to really show people that you're here to stick around. You're not here just for fun for one event. A lot of these guys have the talent to do it. Mini Miner, has this been a birthday dream come true for you, this major